Anne-Marie Heinz and her daughter Alana Heinz, both of whom will be judges today. So welcome, and it's good to see you both, and thank you for taking the time. Jim cannot be here today, but I'm sure he will be watching the recording. So I give you also a warm welcome, Jim, and we'll be able to debrief at a later point. So welcome everybody. I also want to thank our trustee Gabby Simpson for joining us. She will be a judge today, as well as Bob Tony, who generously supported our program this year. So I really want to extend a warm welcome here. I also want to take a moment to really recognize the the tremendous effort that went into this year. It's not been an easy year, by having to navigate different sort of virtual and in-person environments due to the pandemic. But I think we were able to do this in a way that allowed us to really carefully re-examine a lot of the work that we do, and learn and really think about the future in terms of how we can combine technology as an important element of how we can support our students. And I think that again, the lessons learned have been really tremendous. I really want to give a big shout out to our students. They're resilient, they're creative, your passionate entrepreneurial spirit has been really, a force in and of itself. So, I think today will be a wonderful celebration of that, and I really look forward to those presentations. Of course, the last year, I just want to take a moment also to acknowledge some exciting things that happened at the Heinz Institute. We launched 2 new undergraduate programs, a BA in entrepreneurial leadership and a BBA in entrepreneurship. The reception has been phenomenal so far. I think I've met with close to students in the last year, and I think we have now over 30 students who have declared a major already in one of our programs. So we also launched a virtual incubator program. We expanded our mentor network, and we held monthly mentor meetups, again focusing on building out our community and really supporting our students as a force, as Gales do, right? We support each other, and I think that's a wonderful tribute to everybody's participation. And I want to again thank everybody who's joining us on this exciting journey. All right, but nobody's here to hear me talk all evening, so I think I want to pass this on now to get to our student presentations. But before we do that, I really want to introduce and have the distinct pleasure to introduce Dr. Thomas Carey, the 9th president of Iona College, to unmute his microphone and offer a couple of welcome remarks. Seamus.
Thank you, Christoph, and thank you everyone who is here tonight for this great event. As Christoph just mentioned, I actually want to congratulate the students for getting to this point this year. You have showed incredible resilience, but also creativity, right? You've taken a really challenging situation and used it to come up with new ways of working, new ways of doing things. So for that in itself, I want to congratulate all of you. And along with that, the faculty who have mentored you along the way, our alumni and mentors who participate in this, that's incredible work. But of course, the Heinz Institute wouldn't be here without the Heinz family. And so I definitely want to thank Jim and Anne-Marie, Alana and Katie for your incredible dedication to Iona and your ongoing support and interest in the work that's taking place here. And none of this would be happening if it wasn't for Christoph. And, Christoph is an exemplary member of the Iona community. And the way that he's running the Institute is sort of a model for the college itself. We are very interested in opening our students' education to the community, and in turn, welcoming the community in to supplement our students' education. And I think the Heinz Institute is a model of how that works. And so we're incredibly proud of what Christoph has done, and his team, his staff, his faculty. It's just really exciting to be around. And so with that, I wish all the participants tonight the best of luck, but you deserve congratulations before you even start. So thank you, Christoph, and have a great event.
Thank you, President Carey, for your kind remarks. Really appreciate it. I'm going to stop now. My job is done. That's the best part. I'm going to pass it on to IMC, Charlene Batista. She has much more energy and a great smile that allows us to carry us through this evening. So, Charlene, I'm going to pass on the microphone to you, and thank you for carrying us through this evening. So, have a great evening, everyone, and good luck to all of our students. Congratulations.
Thank you, Christoph, and thank you all for joining us today as we celebrate the final pitch event of the 4th annual Iona Innovation Challenge. It's really been quite the journey for everyone that's been involved, and truly a rewarding experience. These past 2.5 months have been filled with so much excitement and challenges as the students work through their milestones and navigated all of the uncertainties with COVID-19. And this year, our entire competition was virtual, from the mentoring to the workshops. We really created this safe space for the students to virtually explore and also build their ideas. The milestones that they completed consisted of a 60-second pitch video, an executive summary, and a pitch deck, which you will get the chance to see today. We started the competition off with 17 ideas, and 15 of them went on to complete all of the materials. And throughout the competition, the students engaged with mentors and coaches to continue to refine and work through their ideas. Mentors then participated in preliminary judging to narrow down to the 8 finalists that we have today. Congrats, finalists, for making it through. And of course, I want to extend our gratitude to more than 30 mentors who helped students in refining their ideas, in doing the workshops, and providing consistent feedback and judging. And all we do throughout this competition would not have been possible without your continued support. So the rules for tonight, you're going to be seeing a pre-recorded 4-minute pitch followed by a 3-minute Q&A session. Everyone, please make sure that your mics are muted. Only judges and the presenting team will have their mics on during Q&A. Again, 8 teams are competing for first, second, and third place prizes. There are also 2 superlative awards that the judges can use at their discretion. And we will also be announcing the winner of the fan favorite track, where the teams who completed all milestones, they had an opportunity to crowdsource likes from their friends and their families using social media. So we had everyone's initial pitch video up on our Instagram account. And they had whoever has the most likes and engagement over the course of the last 2 weeks up until last night would be announced as the winner. Prizes. This year, the cash prizes have almost doubled, with first place now being at $5,000, second place $2,500, third place $1,500. The fan favorite is $1,000, and the 2 superlative awards are each valued at $500. And for the first time, we are excited to announce that we are awarding EIA as a prize at this year's competition. So students who submitted all milestones are eligible to apply for a scholarship to attend EIA this summer. And EIA is the world's largest entrepreneurship program for students. So this will be a virtual experience, a virtual 3-week experience over the summer, which is really, really exciting. In the past, we've had, I believe, around like 10 students who have had the opportunity to attend this, and some of which are here today. And before we begin the actual team pitches, I want to take a moment to introduce to you all of our wonderful judges who are here today. And first, I would like to introduce Anne-Marie Hines, whom without her and Jim Hines, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you for everything that you do for us, for our students. Mrs. Hines' work focuses on women's issues, and most recently, she functioned as a pro bono attorney with the Pace Women's Justice Center, representing domestic abuse victims. She serves on numerous boards and is the president of the Hines Foundation. Our second judge, Alana Hines, currently serves as the vice president for M&A and venture capital at Xerox Corporation, focusing on technology and software acquisitions. She received an MBA from Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth and a BA in mathematical economics from Brown University. And our next judge is an Iona alum and a member of the Iona Board of Trustees, Gabrielle Gambrell, who is a communication, branding, and media expert. She's also a consultant for her own brand, The Gift of Gab, where she provides counsel to CEOs, board of directors, and senior leadership as a chief integrated marketing and communication strategist. And then our next judge, and also alum, is Robert V. Tony, who has served as a board member on several medical device companies since his retirement from Closure Medical Corporation. And Mr. Tony's earlier career primarily included financial management positions from several large companies. And last but not least, Joel Quintong is a 2-time graduate of Boston College, who is currently our Dean of Students here at Iona, where he provides leadership and support for the ongoing development and effective management for the Iona student community. So thank you, judges, and welcome. We're so excited to have you here. And now it's time for our student pitches. Ivan will be sharing each of the videos with you all. Again, they are 4-minute videos. And then after each team, we're going to jump into a live Q&A. So we will be keeping it to around 1 to 2 questions per team. And I will be timing it just to make sure that we keep everyone on track so that we can continue through each of the 8 teams here today. So our first team that we have is Fridge Fresh. And it's Fridge Fresh is a mobile app that generates a fully customizable shopping list based on a user's purchase habits.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joey Lopez. I'm currently a junior at Iona College studying marketing and entrepreneurship, and I am the CEO and founder of Fridge Fresh, providing clarity where there is confusion. So in this world, there are 2 things that everyone needs but can never quite get enough of, and that is time and money. And Fridge Fresh sets to satisfy this need specifically for grocery shoppers. So what is it? Fridge Fresh is an automated shopping list that is designed to save you time and keep you on budget while you're in the grocery store doing your grocery shopping. So why do people need this? People visit a grocery store 1 to 2 times per week and spend 43 minutes there on average. And in addition, grocery stores have over 39,000 items in them, making it basically impossible for you to go in there without a list and not be distracted and pick up other items while you're shopping. Over 70% of millennial shoppers already create a list for their grocery shopping trip. And unsurprisingly, things you intended to buy at a grocery store is number 7 on the top 10 things people tend to forget list. So how it works. Fridge Fresh is based on your purchases, and through that, it recommends items you might be interested in, and more importantly, items that you probably shouldn't be interested in. For example, if you buy 5 cartons of Oreos every single week, Fridge Fresh is going to recommend that you probably cut down on the Oreos and maybe not even buy them. In addition, you scan what you buy when you go shopping, and this is how it keeps track of all the items that you've purchased. Through that, it'll create shopping lists, and these shopping lists are generated based on item longevity and time periods in between you actually buying the item. So if you buy paper towels every other week, paper towels will be added to your list every other week. So competition. So the main 2 competitors are AnyList and OptUp. That's set to do sort of the same thing that Fridge Fresh is doing, but just a little bit better. So competitive analysis. They both create lists. They both are shareable to multiple devices. They both save recipes and have the ability to download from the internet. And they both organize items just as a regular shopping list would be. But Fridge Fresh does a couple things better. We account for items in and not in your stock. We have half the subscription for the entire year at $5. We keep all of your shopping history so you can go back and see what you used to buy or what you bought last week. And most importantly, we have deal notifications that will be sent out and even have the ability for you to search for an item and find the best price in your area or find the best supermarket based on your budget to go shopping at. So our go-to-market plan, obviously we've defined the problem, and that is to save time and save people money in terms of grocery shopping. By July, we hope to develop an advertising-based app for our consumers. By the fall, we hope to have a pre-launch to press and outreach lists. And by next year, we'd hope to have a minimum viable product roll out to a segmented audience, simply because it'd be a lot easier and more cost efficient to roll out to, like, say 100 or 200 people. If there is a problem, it's a lot easier to fix, and it's cheaper to fix within that small group, comparable to 1,000 to 2,000 people. Then it gets quite expensive. So use of funds for the first year. So obviously creating an app is not cheap. So it's about $40,000 to create an app. It's about $5,000 to update the app, and that's app maintenance. So we'd like to have an update every 6 months. Marketing, we need that just to get people on the app and download it for the first time. We figured $5,000 is sufficient for the first year. That brings us to a total startup cost of $55,000 for the first year. And as you can see, I've broken it up into conservative and aggressive performances in terms of users. So conservative is about 15% growth per month, and aggressive is about 20%. And the profit margins are quite different. So conservative, $10,000 profit for the first year. Aggressive, a little over $34,000 for the first year. And lastly, I'd like to leave it off with a business local opportunity for Fridge Fresh. As you know, Fridge Fresh would be B2C traditionally with just ads running through the actual app. But if we pair with a grocery store, it offers the opportunity to go B2B. And with a grocery store, shoppers already use shopper saver cards, and we can get all the information inputted from the grocery store database into Fridge Fresh's database, and we can more accurately suggest items and create shopping lists automatically. So with that, thank you guys so much for the opportunity and good luck to everyone else in the challenge.
And that was Fridge Fresh. So Joey, please make sure your camera is on and your mic is on. Judges, do any of you have any questions for Joey?
I have a question. Great job, Joey. I'm really excited to see and hear everyone's presentation tonight. And I really appreciate the time that you guys took to work on this. And I think it's awesome. So my question would be, why would they want to partner with, like, every shopping store, to my knowledge, also has an app. So I live in Westchester, I live in White Plains. ShopRite and Stop and Shop both have apps so people can order directly from the app. Why would they? Yes, there's Instacart, there's Amazon Cart, there's all these other things. Why would they not use those apps and not use the regular store app and use yours?
Okay, first, I appreciate the question and thank you. So obviously, that's why I left it at the end of the presentation, because pairing with the supermarket would be a little more difficult to do based on the reasons that you just gave. So our opportunity for a supermarket in pairing with Fridge Fresh would be directly from the amount of users already on our app. So that's why I pitched the whole idea as a B2C with ad revenue coming straight from the app versus a B2B business, because obviously we would need those users first, and that would kind of be our presentation to the grocery store saying, we have 10,000 users, we can use our app to push certain coupons or get more users in your store, meaning to recommend the store to our users.
Thank you, Joey.
Thank you.
Joey, how many users did you have in that first year?
Under conservative or aggressive? Under conservative, it was a little over 1,000. Aggressive for the first year, just over 1,800, I believe.
Okay. And if I asked you 5 years from now, how many users would you have?
You mean hopefully or based on that data?
Based on that data.
Hopefully a little over 10,000.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I actually have a question. I too find it interesting that you wound up working on this, but I'm not familiar with AnyList or the other one that you mentioned. I was wondering, why would anybody switch to your service? I mean, if I know you specified that there was 1 or 2 things that make you different, but you're not that much cheaper. For example, you're not free. They're not very expensive at $10 a year. So if I understand that correctly, you'd be charging $5 a year annually. What would be the trigger that would say to them, well, I'd actually like to use this new app. I'd like to use Fridge Fresh.
Okay, so both of those apps basically, so OptUp bases their whole categorizing system and makes list making capabilities off of from a health standpoint. So there's all like rankings based on food, 100 being the healthiest, 0 being not healthy at all. And the other app just is a traditional making a list. You can input any items that you want and it just kind of organizes them. With the main point with Fridge Fresh is that we're trying to save you money and keep you on budget. So we would have the option for you to search up specific items and find the best price for you to go shopping based on your budget. Or you can look up certain grocery stores to fit your budget and all the items on that list so you can stay on budget.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Joey,
Thank you.
Joey, is there any use of AI or machine learning in trying to determine the algorithms for whatever it's recommending for its users?
Absolutely. So the main way that as of right now, the way I've been thinking about it, it would be based off of all your previous purchasing history. So that would be the way that we could more accurately predict items for your list for, say, the next week or even the next day. And that's why pairing with the grocery store would be super important, because obviously grocery store shoppers that have shopper saver cards have been shopping there for years. So we could have years of data versus a month, even 2 months of data.
Have you tested
you.
this a group?
We have, sorry.
One quick question. Have you tested this with a group?
Other than surveys, I don't have a beta version or anything like that, no.
Okay.
Thank you, Fridge Fresh. All right, so on to the next team. We have Just Because. It is a handmade greeting card company that employs people with intellectual and developmental disabilities as the artists behind the cards. And once we go into Q&A, if we can have 2 to 3 at max, just to make sure that we keep on track for the evening in terms of questions. All right, let's go.
This past winter, I launched a small business where I make handmade cards. After 2 months, I was overwhelmed with orders, so I thought of my options for expanding. I could purchase a nice printer, but this would take away from the handmade aspect. Then I had a thought. I recalled an experience I had volunteering at a food pantry. Among the volunteers were adults with disabilities. I was touched by their enthusiasm to serve others and so humbled by knowing that people with disabilities are often overlooked in our society. So I thought, why not expand my small business by employing artists with disabilities? In 2020, 61.8% of people with no disability were employed and 66.3% in the prior year, compared to only 17.9% of persons with a disability who were employed in 2020, down from 19.3% in 2009. Just Because is a greeting card company that employs people with disabilities such as autism and Down syndrome as the artists behind the cards. Cards are handmade and have custom options available, such as adding the recipient's name or changing a phrase. The company promotes Just Because themed cards that do not require special occasions, making them marketable all year round. So how are the cards made? Initially, after a thorough interview process, 5 artists are hired to work remotely from the comfort of their homes. Once hired, each employee receives specialized training designed for their specific learning needs and continues to receive individual support throughout. Artists receive packages with materials to create the cards and personalized instructions for their specific learning needs. Just Because is a business-to-consumer business model where artists create cards from home and send completed cards back to the home company. Customers purchase cards on the company website and the home company ships to consumers. Estimating a sale of approximately 13,000 cards in the first year at $15 a card, the company would make $195 in first-year sales. In the first year, Just Because will hire 5 artists as the company continues to develop its ongoing supportive training model for individual employee needs and use social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook to share the stories of the artists. In the second year, Just Because looks to hire more artists with different disabilities and begin to invite volunteers to work alongside the artists as potential training staff. By year 3, Just Because looks to move into a facility for dedicated workspace and expand beyond greeting cards to create products that further showcase the artist's diverse talents. Major competitors have cards of different occasions, and some even have handmade cards, but only Just Because employs artists with disabilities to create the cards. In addition, no other card company has custom options for their handmade cards. Compared to $10.50 or $12.99 for a handmade card, $15 for a custom handmade card is well worth paying for, especially when the consumer knows their purchase is supporting the employment of an artist with a disability. Initially, $5,000 would cover the cost of supplies, website, and an LLC for the first year. Following, 5 artists would be employed for 30 hours a week, receiving a starting salary of $15 an hour. The artists would be able to make 50 cards per week, each give or take, leading to a total of 13,000 cards in 1 year, which costs $3,500 to make. The cost of salaries for a total of 5 employees in the first year is $117,000, leaving the company with a $74,000 profit in its first year. Funds would be allotted towards the first step. My name is Andrea Perez. I'm an OT student here at Iona, and my hope is that Just Because can turn into a model for disability-inclusive employment. Thank you.
Thank you, Just Because. Now it's time for Q&A. Judges?
So hi, I had a question. So I think it's a wonderful idea, and I really like that you're coming to the market with a unique value proposition, that serves many needs. I was a bit concerned about the price per card. I certainly know that greeting cards are quite expensive in the store, but $15 does strike me as quite a premium. So I was wondering if you could comment on that, and how you see that being received by the market. And then the other question I would have is, you know, I know that many of the other sort of leading greeting card companies don't do customizable options, but many vendors on sites such as Etsy would be able to offer this kind of product, or might be offering something similar, albeit with a different artist base. So have you thought about that kind of competition base as well?
Hi, thank you so much for your question. So for starters, so sorry. Normally, greeting card companies directly sell their cards out, right? Well, just because it's also paying for the instructions and the packages that are sent to the artist. So we also have to account for all of the work that is put in behind the scenes. And I just want to give a little bit of background also. So for my cards, I actually sell them at $3, but a lot of people pay me much more than that. I've had someone pay me $20 for a card, and that's just me, right? So putting that into consideration, and that just hasn't been one person. There have been several people that have paid me much more for a handmade card that I've made. They're beautifully illustrated with watercolor. There's a lot of detail put into it. And so knowing that someone would be able to pay, or several people would be willing to pay that amount of money for a card that I make, I'm pretty sure that people out there, knowing that there's a cause behind the cards being made, knowing that they're helping someone's employment that normally would not be employed, that would be such a motivator. And sorry, can you repeat the second question?
Oh, I was just curious, you know, probably like yourself, you know, there are many people who use platforms like Etsy and other marketplaces to sell customizable handmade products. You know, how do you see that competition base versus, you know, the ones you highlighted, which are more sort of the national brands?
Right. So I think that what really sets Just Because apart is the cause behind it, hence the name Just Because. And I think that's what really stands out above all other Etsy companies or other handmade products, which there's also a growing demand for handmade products. I don't know if it's because of the pandemic or people want to connect to the person who is creating a product. So I think that's what really stands out in the midst of other handmade products or even handmade cards. It's who's making them.
We have room for one more question. One more question for Just Because.
For clarification, the rate is $15 an hour?
Yes, starting salary.
All right, great. Thank you so much. And next up, we have Parkey. And Parkey uses artificial intelligence to aggregate on-street traffic data to inform, guide, and coordinate drivers to increase the likelihood of detecting on-street parking near a driver's destination.
Based on true stories. It's late in the evening and a nearby neighbor just spent over an hour and a half circling around the neighborhood, hoping someone leaves a parking space. This driver, his name is Melvin. I live in Melvin's neighborhood. We are strangers to one another. And on the evening Melvin was looking for parking, he contributed to 30% of traffic caused by drivers searching for on-street parking at any given time. A cycle that occurs again and again for residential drivers in need of street parking spaces. Parkey is a mobile application for city drivers to fairly and seamlessly experience an increased probability of on-street parking reliability. We're going to take a piece of the parking management market. It's currently $3.8 billion and is expected to grow $5.4 billion by 2025. Parkey's goal is to target 10% of the available market for the first 3 years. Our service will compete in the market because the Parkey experience does not exist today. Drum roll, please. Introducing Parkey. Our team has bootstrapped Parkey 1.0 beta as currently seen for the last 10 months. We're going to market with technology that allows users to securely and anonymously interact with our user-friendly interface to easily record their on-street parking patterns. Every time a driver is looking for a spot, another driver is leaving a spot, which is what I've always observed growing up in New York City. The more a user records when they park out from an on-street parking spot, the more a user will experience on-street parking reliability when it's their turn to park in. Investors, friends, and family, let me finally fill you in on Parkey's magic. It's comprised of an artificial intelligence software, a community gamification leaderboard, and a loyalty rewards program. Together, this sets Parkey apart and creates a unique user experience for our target audience. Now let's talk about how we're going to make money. Parkey will be a free application targeting 80% of the 2.2 million registered NYC drivers. We'll make money also from advertising and data brokers. Drivers' willingness to pay will be high as parking garage cost exceeds by 197% monthly. We're going to launch high-impact, cost-efficient go-to-marketing strategies. One of these being an environmental event campaign. As Parkey reduce the environmental impact from vehicles searching for on-street parking. We're going to get key stakeholders involved, such as New York City Council people. Our key differentiators rank Parkey 5 out of 5 compared to our leading competitor, Parking Haven, ranking 2 out of 5. We project our highest cost will go towards funding our go-to marketing strategies and beta testing the algorithm. Our solution will be effective because we're going to create such a great experience with the drivers at the forefront. It's my honor to finally introduce myself as the founder and CEO. I have a bachelor's in management and a minor in entrepreneurship, and I'm currently pursuing my MBA right here at Iona in marketing. The rest of my superstar senior team includes Jose, Pat, Aska, Brijan, and they're all receiving a BA in computer science. One call to action that you all can help me here today. Are you or do you know any NYC City drivers? Become a better user today. Scan this QR code and share it. We're already prototyping. We already have a solid algorithm that's ready to be beta tested. We have a list of beta users. We're ready to make you the money. Now give us the investment because in order for us to get to the market faster, we need your $6,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Parkey. Now it's time for Q&A. Judges?
How many competitors? I missed that.
Say that again?
Any competitors? I missed that.
Yes, there's one competitor that it's a startup company that recently just came onto market in January 2020. They're startup, they have about few thousand users, and sort of what's interesting about their startup is, sorry, give me 1 second, is that they are sort of how they are trying to solve sort of on-street parking management is that they really are giving it to the hands of the users. So users have to be actively using their phones and have to actively be engaged and being able to unsecurely, unsafely share their locations versus where Parkey uses AI and software technology where the experience is extremely seamless, where the swapping matches are also legal and are in accordance to the fairness laws that exist when it comes to sharing parking spaces in cities.
Thank you.
So I project them having some legal issues down the line.
I was curious when in the vein of competition and you highlighted, different types of parking, do you see this model being extensible to kind of off-street, not street parking? Because I'm thinking if you wanted to go beyond New York, I've experienced that too and scrolling around neighborhoods, but I think that's a somewhat unique experience in very urban markets. So I was curious if you guys have thought about how could the product be expanded to other use cases.
Most definitely. I shared in the beginning slides sort of how many registered, because we are targeting urban areas. This is affecting urban communities. And there's sort of the component of sort of the impact that drivers are causing to these neighborhoods, to these residential neighborhoods, residential drivers themselves. So sort of the strategy is that when we think about LA, there's about, I think, 5.5 or 6.5 million drivers. So we would really just cultivate sort of going into these urban communities and empathizing, working with the drivers, because our main message is we are a community-based app that sort of is working on this solution with the drivers at the forefront. So we would have to, or the algorithm is designed that typically you would be able to implement them into these cities fairly simple and seamlessly in terms of the core capabilities that it has.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
I have a question. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you, sweetie?
Hey, how are you?
It's good to see you as always. So a few things come to mind. So I drive into the city all the time and I have this issue of parking. And I always end up just parking in the lot and paying for parking. And then after I park my car, I get frustrated because I see a spot that just opened up after I was looking for a while. So I say that to say, how do you factor in the fact that in New York City, since you're starting in New York City and you mentioned New York City, how do you factor in the fact that there's individuals literally in their car waiting for somebody to leave, like in the second? So even if someone shares info with their community or, oh, I just pulled off here, if there's someone already waiting to take that spot, how is the app effective?
So thank you for that question, because this is sort of the nitty gritty of the power of Parkey. So what Parkey really does is that it has a proactivity algorithm. So from the moment, Gabriel, that you would get in your car from your house, you would say that you're parking in. So the algorithm would already be coordinating possible likelihoods at the highest probability as you're getting to your destination. So we do have to keep in mind, as I mentioned earlier, the fairness law. So part of our marketing department is why we have an aggressive first year of expenses, is to really go into our go-to marketing strategies to captivate and bring awareness to parking and the solution, so that for example, let's say you are driving into the city and there are people waiting. If Parkey isn't in their phones yet, it's okay if they did take the spot, because what would happen is that already the algorithm would be pre-calculating what is the optimized best route to be able to get you to park closest to your probability. And we create these sort of successful matches by incentivizing other users that are parking out to let us know, hey, I'm parking out. So coordinating sort of how we can get that one driver that is leaving to be able to get you to get inside prior to somebody else, if they're not on the app yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all for Parkey Q&A.
Appreciate it.
Next up, we have Pausies.
My dog Coco and I, we love going for walks, especially when it involves a trip to Dunkin' for iced coffee. One of our favorite places to go is Central Park. And one day when we were walking back home from Central Park, Coco was limping. When I checked him, he had multiple pebbles just stuck in between his paws. It reminded me of the time where I had taken him to a festival and he just yelped out in pain and hid under an ice cream truck. When I checked them, his paws were extremely warm, and it made me realize that their paws are the most vulnerable part of their body. So I went to PetSmart and bought 3 pairs of shoes, and Coco did not like them at all. I tried to train him, but they were either too big, too small, or very slippery, and he just, whenever he saw them, he would run away. So Pawsies is an idea that I came up with. Pawsies is the perfect fit shoe for your dog that protects their paws from hazardous weather and terrain for every time they take a step outside our home. Here's how it works. Pawsies comes in 2 versions, the everyday, which will be mostly used for summer, and the boots. So when you pick a design, Pawsies, you will realize that the everyday only come in pastel colors in order to reflect off the heat. Our boots will only be in black. When you're done picking a design, you will receive a measuring kit. That measuring kit will be used to measure your dog's paws. It will be like Play-Doh to measure your dog's paws. Easy, simple. When you're done, you send it back to us, we create your Pawsies, deliver them straight back to your home, and have your furry friend try them on. Pawsies is an idea that I had really developed on the past semester, and it really is mostly for millennials and Gen Z, because we created this trend of pet parenting where we treat our pets like our own children. And it has come to a point where we're willing to pay more as long as our pets are receiving the best quality out there. And, Pawsies, it targets everything, all of our needs, and including our pets. It provides protection for our pets and also gives us pet owners a peace of mind. Pawsies is comfortable, customizable. You can pick a design that you would like to see on your pet, and it's very, very protective. It's a hard cover that acts like second skin on their paws and protects them from everything that is outside, including the bacteria that is on the floor that just accumulates every time we go on a walk. Pawsies basically makes your dog the Cinderella of the story by making sure that he finds the perfect fit shoe so that he can use on a daily basis. Pawsies gives us pet owners what we need, a peace of mind to know that our dogs are being protected on a daily basis. This idea, most of it came up with a lot of feedback that I got back from one-on-one conversations with pet owners around my neighborhood. And they already know that I might just be a potential business owner in which they will buy Pawsies because they know that it targets everything that they need and they want. Pet parenting is something that's become really big right now. And Pawsies targets every single need for us. Thank you. My dog.
Thank you, Melissa. Now it's time for Q&A.
Can I ask how much this costs? I mean, I saw that the cost is variable, but I mean, do you have an average price that people would pay? And do you have an average turnaround time that you can generate the product in?
Yes, so after a very thorough research on a lot of competitors out there who already have shoes on the market, unless they are from a brand, they don't really go over $50. So I want Pawsies to be able to not go over any much of 50 because I want it to be designed depending on how much material is being used on the breed. So if, let's say the breed is a Chihuahua, there's not much being used. So I don't want it to cost as much more than $20. But if it's a big dog, like a German Shepherd, their paws are a little bit much more bigger and thicker. So then I would assume that they wouldn't go over 50.
So you're gonna have a generic price list that actually by breed that you actually sort of specify what the average would be for somebody to spend. And then how do you handle returns? Do you, like, if people decide they don't like it, if they get it and they've made a mistake, they could very well make a mistake, I assume, using a mold or using your package if they did it wrong. So I mean, would you give them a full refund? Do you actually try and work with them again to generate it again, or?
So from what I've known of other businesses, they usually have like a return time which they give it like a trial of like, try it for 30 days. And then if you don't like it, you send it back and we give you your money back. So that's exactly what I want to incorporate when it comes to Pawsies, because even though it's a measuring kit of a mold, sometimes mistakes happen. So if you made a mistake, maybe you could just let us know and we try again. But if you still don't like it or it's just too hard to handle, you give it back to us and we do a full refund. This is where I also like to include the that it is made out of recycling material. That way, whatever material was used will be recycled and used all over again.
So what would you need in your first year to get started? How much money would you need to get started?
I haven't really gone into the financials in depth, but I'm more of in the prototyping phase of like trying to use 3D printing. And I'm still doing very thorough research on what materials I will be needing. But when I am able to get all of that, I can give more information.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any idea how long these shoes would last?
So I want them to be of a hard cover, kind of like the hard cover on the bottom of your shoe. I want them to be long lasting. So I would say I really want to hit the target of about 2 months, but every once in a while, like when you go on walks on a daily basis, especially if it's like long walks to Central Park for like 3 hours and they're on their feet on a constant basis, they might just wear out a little bit faster. But I want them to last longer, so that way you have more of a, you're more satisfied with the result that you paid. The quantity and the quality are in even matches. So I don't want it to be like you put them on and then they wear out in 2 weeks or they wear out in a month. I want them to be 2 to 3 months. So I'm going to try to really focus on that hard cover and make it really, really strong and thick, but not as much, because I still want to focus on the basis that it is comfortable, protective, and it acts like a second layer barrier of protection on our dog's paws.
Thank you, judges, and thank you, Pawsies, Melissa. Next up, we have Spot Me.
Hello, judges. My group would like to introduce you to the pocket arm, the Swiss Army knife to geriatrics. According to the NCDI, more than 7 million Americans are living with an artificial knee or hip replacement, which have a significant future implication in the terms of the need for the ongoing patient care. When leaving the hospital from the surgical procedure, you are given a bunch of tools such as a long-handled shoehorn and a reacher. They are too big and too many items to carry outside, and they don't even have a bag or a case to fit into. From the growing life expectancy, many individuals living in the geriatric population suffer from pain and weakness, which makes it difficult to grab and hold objects. Many reachers are not versatile enough to complete everyday activities.
What is the pocket arm and what makes us different? The retractability. There are many pocket arms on the market that go to different lengths, but the pocket arm is the only one that retracts in on itself to the size of an iPhone 12 Pro Max. It's convenient. You can place it on a walker, a wheelchair, or even a pocketbook. And because of its small sizing, it is portable, so you won't be leaving it at home. You can take it anywhere. What's out there already? Well, we did a standard reacher in comparison to the pocket arm. And as you can see, the pocket arm has more functions than your standard reacher. So just as a sneak peek, this is our prototype. If you look to the left, there is the lock design button right on the handle, which allows for the claw to close itself and to help people who have arthritis. Then you can look at the individual beads on the green part. That is the telescopic aspect where the pocket arm closes in on itself. And the tape measure aspect is the whole length where you can pull it out and it locks in on itself. Then when you look at the claw, you have the shoehorn, that's magnetic, where you can pick up keys because of the magnetic forces. And if you look to the picture on the right, you can see how the claw flips over and you get to the drill piece. That drill piece is an additional tool, added piece, where you can put things like a toothbrush or a comb.
So why choose the pocket arm? The kit presented on the slide would cost the consumer $64 and the pocket arm would cost them $40. So this will save them money and simplify their life. The price may seem alarming. However, the consumer will save money in the end because there's less tools for them to buy. So we want to start selling to the everyday consumer. We'll then move on to insurances and progress to rehab centers and rehabilitation distributors such as North Coast Medical. So first we came up with our pocket arm, and within 3 months we developed our first prototype. Next, we'll move on to making our prototype with a 3D printer and finalizing our marketing plan. Within 2 years, we want to use it as our capstone project since we're in the occupational therapy department in their program, and then we want our first endorsement deal.
So these are just our financial projections and key metrics. So we started the pocket arm back in the beginning of the semester in February 2021. And we plan on using the money that we win from our competition and investing an additional $10K to test out if the pocket arm is feasible, as well as testing out materials for our prototype. In May 2022, we'll work on our capstone, as Maddie mentioned, and then obtain a patent and reach out to investors by the end of the summer and hopefully endorse a deal with a major medical supply company. By January 2024 to 2025, we'll be established in wholesale to the public. So where will our funds be distributed? So in conclusion, we will distribute our funds towards prototyping, branding and marketing, as well as obtaining a patent.
Thank you, Pocket Arm. Judges?
I did have a quick question when you were talking about partnering with hospitals or endorsements or other things. I'm assuming a product like this doesn't have any regulatory requirements or oversight requirements from groups like the FDA or other groups. You don't have to deal with that, yeah.
Yeah, so we actually did not get a chance to look into that, but Judge Mr. Tony, that's his specialty. He just shook his head no, so yeah.
I don't think you'll have any regulatory issues.
Okay. Right.
I was wondering why you thought that potentially it would be easier to start initially with individuals. I was thinking that it might be more feasible to potentially get in with some type of medical organization. You know, we're into maybe senior centers, or for example, people that run assisted living areas, and trial it in somewhere like that. So you could then maybe have a potential version of investors that might want to back you up. Is that something that you think might work?
Yeah, so through our mentoring process, we got very mixed. Someone said consumer, someone said that route. We just believe that starting with the consumer would be an easier way to enter the market. Because when you're dealing with insurance, you have to make sure that they'll get the reimbursement. Or if you work with a distributing company, you have to really prove why that product is the best. And because we're still at the beginning of the prototype process, we are more confident starting with the consumer and then working our way up into specific hospitals and rehab distributors.
I recently did something in this area. I will tell you, it's an extremely large market. I think you'll be surprised at the cost associated with feasibility, prototyping, and of course, then making sure it's patent protected.
By the way, I really am impressed that, you know, all of you came up with this based on your background working in OT. So I do think it's a great thing to actually identify a need and pursue it. And I'm pretty impressed. This sounds like something that could work.
Thank you so much for that feedback.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. There's room for one more question.
My question is there a plan for how the device would be able to react to different users? Because a very elderly person would need a significant amount of mechanical force to be able to I guess output, so to speak. You would need a big ratio of an output, whereas someone who's just maybe temporarily injured, who doesn't have a lot of loss of hand strength, wouldn't necessarily need something as intense. So how would you address that?
So I'm actually really happy you asked this question. So for the prototype itself, on the bottom of the handle, we had this button. It's the lock design. So when someone goes to reach for something, they use the clamp to grab it. But the lock design, once they clip it, it holds the clamp closed so that while you're bringing something down, you don't have to constantly hold it closed until it reaches your hand. So you only have to clamp, lock, and then you can just pull the pocket arm down until you grab the object or retract it in place.
Thank you. That's good explanation. Thank you.
Thank you, Pocket Arm. Next up, we now have Spot Me.
Hi, my name is Austin Ebanks.
I'm Jack Brandes, and we are Spot Me. Spot Me is a parking app similar to the likes of Airbnb. Users have a peer-to-peer interaction in which a person can supply their driveway for an allotted time to a customer. We founded the idea of Spot Me, seeing our parents wake up unreasonably early every morning just to find parking near their jobs. And we thought it would be a great idea if they knew where they were going to park before they even got in their cars. Although there are numerous parking apps on the market, not one parking app allows individuals to park in homeowners' driveways.
On average, motorists spend 17 hours per year in urban areas searching for parking. It is estimated that this costs drivers $350 in wasted fuel. Our app Spot Me is going to allow people to put this wasted time to good use. When users open the app, Spot Me will use real-time traffic information and consider the time, the day, and parking duration to determine a price for users. As a company, we will receive 20% of the gross revenue generated, and homeowners with a driveway will have a chance to earn 80% of the income they generate when using Spot Me.
Spot Me is perfect for my neighborhood, Rockaway Beach. During the summer, it is tough to find parking due to restrictions, And with Jacob Reese Park raising their price for parking this summer, SpotMe will allow users to skip the parking lot line while also paying significantly less to park within walking distance from the beach. Not only can SpotMe bring you closer to your favorite destination, but SpotMe will also alleviate the stresses of getting to work on time. In most sections of Brooklyn, New York, teachers have to arrive almost an hour before their day starts to find parking. They are frequently forced to deal with alternate side parking regulations and are often ticketed as a result. In most instances, there is an empty driveway right next to the school that would save a teacher time, money, and the stress of potentially having to pay a ticket because they could not park in a valid spot.
The boroughs of Brooklyn and Queens are two New York City hotspots for real estate, restaurants, music festivals like Rolling Loud, and general summertime and year-round entertainment. After we win the competition, we will use funds towards app production. Earnings from this competition will cover approximately 17% to produce the app. We also foresee costs for legal fees, beta runs, eventual expansion to other parts of America, and marketing to make our app well known. Although we estimate it will take about $60,000 to really get entirely started. Based on an average of about 200 people using SpotMe per day, with an average parking time of 3 hours and a price of $10 per hour, our estimated gross revenue will be $2.19 million, allowing $1.752 million in returns to participating homeowners. Our 20% of gross revenue would yield a net income of $438,000.
That's SpotMe. We put cars in driveways and money in your pocket.
Thank you, SpotMe. Judges?
Yeah, no problem.
Guys, this is a great idea. I know one of the issues that the Airbnb and those kinds of services have like issues with is customer service. So have you built in or thought about how you would be able to address like live customer service into your pricing?
How to implement live customer service, as in more so like a way to contact somebody if they're having different issues along the lines of like somebody not leaving the parking spot in enough time.
Yeah.
Okay. That's something that we're still thinking about, and it's something that we've definitely taken into account. We thought about potentially, well, what we were going to do is charge people a certain fee for staying there over the time that they're supposed to. So this fee would accumulate, and I mean, ultimately, if there's too many strikes on the person's app, then they'll ultimately be terminated, just like many other apps. We also considered implementing a towing company into this just in case it got too far where the person really doesn't move. But based on the funds we have so far, we really wanted to allocate them in a very efficient manner. So we haven't decided whether or not a towing company would be efficient yet, but we definitely do charge a fee consistently as more time passes and the person doesn't leave the spot, and then eventual termination, and they're constantly updated with different warnings on their phone to let them know.
Are you anticipating, I thought, as you had referenced initially, that you were going to be like Airbnb at a one-time basis, but it sounds that it would be really useful if people knew that they could park in the same spot 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, while somebody else is not using it. Do you anticipate that the customers will talk to each other and arrange that once you make the link, or will you continue to, this is probably a follow-up to that question about customer service, or will you actually constantly get involved with them? I mean, can they make a 3-month arrangement?
So what we would also allow within the app is like a chat box between the customer and the provider. So if they like parking in their driveway, they're a good person, it's convenient, and the homeowner is okay with it, they could continue to serve their driveway to that customer for the time that that person needs.
And that would be done customer to customer, or do you all get involved?
No, that's customer to customer
Customer, okay.
through chat box.
Thank you.
And then if they need any assistance, then they could always reach out to us as well, and we could put a hand in it, but they will have control over that if they want to.
Has there been any kind of models like this before for parking? Or, you know, I think you said this is unique, but is there anyone else, or, you know, or people, is this something people even do on kind of a one-off like handshake basis with?
Yes, actually in my neighborhood, there are people that have signs in front of their house because of parking restrictions that, hey, you can call me and I will rent out my garage or driveway, for however long they agree to. But that's exactly kind of how we created the idea of our app.
Interesting. No, it makes sense. I mean, probably underutilized, so it's a good idea. And then in terms of that, I'm assuming, you know, you've thought through the liability, or, you know, is someone's homeowner's insurance cover this if something happens to a car? Or is that something that, you know, you guys think you'll have to take on some kind of liability coverage to address any potential concerns?
Yeah, we've taken on, so we would invest in like legal fees. So we would have our lawyers take care of that part, just so we can ensure that there is some type of insurance policy where they're covered. There's also different apps like, you know, Zipcar, they offer, you know, an insurance policy that they actually will give out to the customer where they cover it. So they don't necessarily have to pay for a separate one that's different, that's, you know, absent from what the app offers. So that's what we would implement into our own app, just to ensure that nothing crazy happens throughout the duration of the time.
You guys should look at in Boston, around Fenway Park and Gillette Stadium. This kind of service would absolutely blow it out of the park.
Fenway Park. Thank you.
Thank you, judges. And next up, we have the love wrap.
Is deemed individuals with disabilities and even older adults asexual, and that is society has deemed individuals with disabilities and even older adults asexual, and that is simply not true. The Love Wrap was born after we performed a needs assessment at a local assisted living facility. After learning about the daily lives of the residents, which included intimate relationships, and after observing the functional limitations in those with aging hands, we questioned if these individuals were engaging in safe sex, and if the condom packaging was accessible to the arthritic, weakened, and desensitized hands. The STI rate in older adults over 60 has risen 23% between 2014 and 2017. After further research, we broadened our target market to cover individuals with disabilities and functional limitations. The World Health Organization acknowledges that individuals with disabilities are twice as likely to contract STIs and STDs. As a solution, we created the Love Wrap. The Love Wrap fights for inclusivity and free expression of sexuality for those who society has deemed asexual.
The Love Wrap is a line of accessible condom wrappers. We have the Zip Grip, which uses a D-ring-like mechanism to aid in the opening of the condom wrapper instead of relying on strength and dexterity. We have the Pinch Pull, which widens the pinch necessary to open a condom wrapper with the sliding mechanism that requires less strength to open. And we have the Zip Pull, which combines the first two and has a D-ring-like mechanism to assist in the slide opening. These products have been tested by classmates and family members who all report ease of use and see the correlation for everyday uses. It may seem strange that we have decided to tackle condom packaging, but sexuality is what we call in occupational therapy an activity of daily living. It currently costs us $2.82 to manufacture a variety 3-pack of the Love Wrap. We plan to sell this 3-pack directly to the consumer for a competitive retail price of $6. After proving our need on the market, we will patent and license our patent to a larger condom company for mass distribution. We do not want to compete with existing condom companies. Our overarching goal is to make condom packaging accessible. And here is why we are best. We are convenient, we are innovative, we address multiple populations, and most of all, we are inclusive. And here is the dream team. Myself, Adebasola Latterton, occupational therapy student, chief financial officer of the Love Wrap.
My name is Hannah Schultz. I am an occupational therapy student and product manager of Love Wrap.
And my name is Sabrina Finn. I am an occupational therapy student and I am chief technology officer of the Love Wrap. After we win the Heinz Innovation Challenge competition, we will apply for our provisional patent in June of 2021. In June of 2022, we will begin manufacturing and selling directly to the consumer. And by June of 2024, we will partner with larger condom companies to distribute the Love Wrap. In year one, we estimate a net revenue of $108,000 after expenses. And by year three, we estimate a 226% increase to a net revenue of $352,000 after expenses. After winning this competition, we will allocate the funds to the prototyping process, provisional patent, and research and development of the pilot study. We hope that you now understand how having equal access to condom packaging will promote inclusivity and normalization for all types of individuals to engage in safe sex. Those with disabilities are sexually active and deserve to be independent in that activity. Our designs are the blueprint for revolutionizing condom packaging, and these condom wrappers are only the beginning of reaching an untapped market. And that's a wrap.
Thank you, Love Wrap. Q&A time.
So I have a quick question. I think it's a great idea. And, I can really easily see how you could expand, to your point, potentially beyond condoms to other types of products. When you talk about selling directly to the consumer, I was a little unclear. Are you selling the packaging and then someone would have to repackage it for them? Or are you going to sort of take, a Durex condom and repack it and then resell that?
Yeah, so there are a few companies out there that allow you to design your own packaging, and you can sell the condom like that. We know that condoms, there are different reasons why people use it for the feel. So we know that our condoms won't have that much variety because we are focusing on the packaging. We just want to sell directly just so we can sit in front of a large company so they can understand our need and understand why they should change their packaging.
Okay, great. Thanks. I didn't know that there was that option out there. So that makes sense.
Do you have any idea how many disabled people use condoms now?
We do not, but we do know that they do have limited access. They have limited education on safe sex contraceptives, and they face biases with medical professionals as well when it comes to sex.
You have room for one more question?
I'll follow in because I think the elder angle is interesting too here. You mentioned you looked at some, senior living facilities. Would that be an option to, sort of expand or get more prototypes out in the market to partner with that? I think you could head down to the Villages in Florida. I hear it's very active. So that might be a good test market. But no, I'm serious. I think there's a lot of options for this, but I'm curious if sort of a partnership or some type of relationship would help you accelerate your path to market.
We would definitely be open to that. We want to put our idea out there when we start our provisional patent. So that's something we would definitely be interested in. But we did start with the elderly population, but we felt like that was really limiting us because there are a lot of people who have limitations in their hands. So although we do want to focus on that market, there is a bigger market that we are trying to target as well.
Also, as occupational therapy students, we do have a lot of connections through just our experience over the past 2 semesters. So we will utilize those connections also.
Great.
Thank you, Love Wrap. And finally, last but not least, we have Thinky.
Hi, everyone. We're here to present to you Thinky. In the US, there are 7.5 million people with communicative disabilities, and of this, 2.9 million children have this disability.
My brother is one of these children. He has Down syndrome, and sometimes it's difficult for my family and I to know how he's feeling. Like many other children, he is taught sign language from his therapist, but unfortunately not everyone knows sign language. Sometimes the ASL that children are taught can be modified to suit that child's needs, like if they have a motor impairment due to having Down syndrome or any other disability. Now, this is a problem because children have difficulties expressing their thoughts and emotions, which can lead to a host of problems such as anxiety, depression, or aggression.
To solve this problem, we came up with Thinky, a device and application connected through Bluetooth that can interpret your child's emotion and produce a color output easy for you to understand. The device consists of 3 small EEG sensors attached to the elastic headband. The headband has an appealing design so children aren't uncomfortable. The EEG sensors are directed to the frontal lobes and are able to pick up a child's brainwaves when you ask them a question like, "How was school today?"
Here is how our app works. The user first sets up an account and then logs in. After logging in, the user can check to make sure their headpiece is connected to their device. The user will then place the headpiece on the child and it will begin to read the child's neural pathway. A color output will appear. As you can see, Arnold is feeling cheerful. The app will ask if the user wants to log the info, which will save it for them to reference and track progress over time.
With Thinky, 2.9 million children will be able to express themselves to their loved ones, and families will be able to know how to respond to their child based on their emotions. To start off, we want to focus on the 1,536 children in the New Rochelle School District with disabilities. Within our first year, we will help 46 children by partnering with the Board of Education.
Thinky's competitors are Muse, Lifted, and NeuroSky. Muse, for example, plays sounds that correlate to the child's mood, while Thinky focuses on reading your neural pathways and extrapolating the emotions being felt. Our partnerships with clinicians allow us to provide a product that runs as efficiently as it can, reading neural pathways and providing accurate readings.
Thinky's applications and devices cost $300 to consumers. Our goal is to keep production at or below $200 to allow for at least a 33% profit margin. We are a B2B and B2C market. Our B2C market is sold to any family with a child between the ages of 3 to 12 with non-communicative disabilities. Our B2B plan is marketed to speech pathologists and psychologists so they can use it for their patient if they see fit. The cost is the same regardless of the market, but for each additional child on a single device is $50.
By phase 1, we plan to take 9 months to build 10 Thinky headpieces, collaborate with clinicians to read EEG readings and test for accuracy. By phase 2, I plan to work with someone in the field to develop a hi-fi prototype of the app and have it deployed to the App Store in 8 months. By phase 3, we plan to collaborate with clinicians and host clinical trials to gauge how the app and the device will work in tandem. Phase 4, we will begin by distributing Thinky to families and collect user data through surveys. In phase 5, we'll develop our device and application for adults.
$20,000 is needed to achieve phase 1. Upon winning the competition, this would give us 25% of the money needed to complete the first phase. The remaining $15,000 will be raised from a combination of bootstrapping and family and friends investment rounds.
Now it's officially our time for us to introduce ourselves. My name is Ladon.
And I'm Rihanna.
And we are the co-founders of Thinky. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges, for our final round of Q&A.
So I think this is a very ambitious project. I was wondering, I can understand that from personal experience, you believe that this might be an alternative. Have you considered actually seeing if this is being done in some of the children's hospitals? Because there seems to be some wonderful research that comes out of them. And I'm wondering if that would give you a leg up in terms of actually generating the prototypes and actually testing them.
So what we have right now in the field, all we're doing right now is repurposing the technology and making it easier for everyday people for us to understand. Right now, the EEG technology is available in the specialty fields right now, but the actual data is something that only specialists in those fields can understand. So what the app tends to do is interpret that data and make it so everyone can view the data and interpret it for themselves.
But you would need a professional to actually, I mean, you would need to have sort of some kind of imprimatur from somebody professional, I would think, in the field, who would actually suggest to people that this would be a useful technique that they could use at home. I mean, is that not something you think you need, or?
Yes, we are planning to partner with psychologists and speech pathologists to actually interpret this data and have it something that they could recommend to their clients as well.
Okay, and I have one more just really general question. There's a lot of children who don't want to wear things on their heads. And do you have a solution to that if they don't want to wear it? I mean, it would be an item to buy if your child would wear it.
So unfortunately, like it does have to go on their head because of the EEG sensors, but that's why we were trying to like come up with a way to make it more appealing and comfortable for them. So like if it would have like a design with like stars or like tiaras if it was a girl or something.
I think it's less that, it's more that some children just don't like to wear things on their head. And, and I would think that those particular, well, I assume what you can do is you can put in some kind of return policy so that the people who buy it, if their child actually is not physically able or will not wear it for them, you could take it back. So I guess I'm ahead of myself in that terms. So, but it's a really good idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think there's a lot of potential there. I was curious if you guys have thought about using a subscription model instead of a flat rate. I'm a Whoop wearer and I pay my subscription gladly because I think the product is very good. It kind of roped me in, like I'm going to be in it for a little while because I've already invested, like I've invested a little bit along the way as opposed to one big lump sum at the beginning. So I was curious if you had thought about that.
We did consider it, but we felt as though the 300 flat rate would be beneficial to us and that we would charge an additional $50 for any potential child they wanted to add on to the device. So yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, judges. Great presentations. And judges, thank you for the thoughtful questions. Now it is time for the deliberation. This is where judges will be tallying up their scores to determine the prize winners. And while the judges go into the deliberation room, we do have a special award to give out and have a star Iona student who has returned to share some of her entrepreneurial journey. Here to introduce the award and our alumni keynote speaker is Lynette Pacheco-George, Assistant Director of the Heinz Institute. So, hi, Lindy, take it away.
Hey, everybody. So excited to be here and so excited to see sort of all these presentations that were amazing, blowing my mind in this process. And for some of you that don't know, I've been out of the loop for a couple of months, so that's why this is even more exciting. But anyhow, the annual Heinz Leadership Award awards $500 to an entrepreneurial student leader to enrich their education. This scholarship was developed to provide students to support student leadership who demonstrate continued dedication to enriching their entrepreneurial mindset. And here in this call, we have sort of our first awardee who was awarded actually 2 years ago. It's hard to believe it's already 2 years ago, but Tiara Griffith, who's now an alum, sort of is gonna be giving us a keynote, but Tiara was the first awardee for the Heinz Leadership Award, honored for her commitment and ongoing dedication to the mission of the Heinz Institute and serving as student leader amongst her peers. Personally, I know Tiara and she is a superstar and I am so happy to just hear her story and kind of where she's going from here on out. Tiara was the CEO is the Entrepreneurship Club, from 2017 to 2019. She participated in the EIA, which is the European Innovation Academy, during the summer 2018. She was also a fellow for the University Innovation Fellowship, which is sponsored by Stanford D School. And she also placed as one of the finalists in the 2018 Iona Innovation Challenge. So she's done it all. Any activities that the Heinz Institute sort of has put in front of her, she has definitely taken part. But most importantly, Tiara really has helped us really launch the Heinz Institute. So for that, we're very grateful. So T, you want to take it away?
Thank you, Lenny, so much for that introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Tiara Griffith, and I'm a recent Iona College grad, so class of 2020. So like Wendy mentioned, I was the first year's recipient of the Heinz Institute Leadership Award, So today I'd just like to share with you all my story from where I started at Iona to where I am today, and then just close with some pieces of wisdom for some of the students here. So I started at Iona in fall 2016, and I majored in business management, and I also was a commuter student all 4 years. My freshman year, I was involved in SGA, or Student Government Association, as the senator for the business school. So the following semester, I was selected as one of 2 students to be on the Heinz Institute Search Committee, among other faculty and staff members, to find a director for the new Heinz Institute, which at that time hadn't been built. And so that is how that's how Christoph and I first met. And I also met all the other team members at the Heinz Institute. So during the summer, Christoph asked if I wanted to be president of the entrepreneurship club. And I told him that I had no idea how to run a club and had no experience, especially to start something from scratch, as I had only been a student for 1 year at Iona. But he told me, you get experience through getting experience. So I said yes to the role, and I founded the first entrepreneurship club on campus, which is now like CEO. So that fall of 2017, I worked closely with Jarlene to help myself and the e-board organize and put together a series of entrepreneurial workshops, events, and activities for my peers on campus. And the Heinz Institute quickly became a second home to me, and they can all confirm that I spent a lot of time there. So I really enjoyed collaborating with the Heinz Institute team, the interns, and students at the Gale Ventures space on North Ave, and then on top of Spelman when the Heinz Institute opened its new space there. And at the end of spring 2018, the Heinz Institute presented me with the opportunity to study abroad in Italy and attend the European Innovation Academy. And so that's also known as EIA. So EIA is a 3-week accelerated entrepreneurship program where students from all over the world come together, form teams, and build a startup from conception to launch. So after being awarded the Heinz Institute Leadership Award, I used the funds towards my study abroad trip. And so during my time at EIA, during the summer of 2018, I worked with my team and used the knowledge that from the Heinz Institute of solving problems for consumers and ideating to build and manage the product development cycle of a mobile application prototype called Sporty. So our app prototype, Sporty, it utilizes algorithms to connect users with the perfect athletic partner and creates healthy, fun competition. I really enjoyed, working with my team in this product role to develop a product for consumers. And I then went on to be on the Entrepreneurship Club's e-board or executive board for the next 2 years at Iona as president and then vice president during my senior year. I really enjoyed building and growing the club and engaging with my peers in innovative and new experiences on campus. So I just want to fast forward now to spring 2020. So my last semester on campus. I graduated during a global pandemic, so that obviously wasn't ideal, as trying to find a job while companies were laying off professionals and putting their recruitment efforts on pause was quite challenging. However, I knew I wanted to explore the field of product management, as I really enjoyed my experience working in a product role on my team at EIA, and I felt it combined my passion for entrepreneurship, business, and my interest in the tech industry. So last summer, I connected with a PM, product manager at Uber, who was previously a Heinz Institute adjunct professor. And I also connected with other PMs at various tech companies, so like Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, who shared book recommendations, online resources, and also recommended a few groups of aspiring PMs I should join to help me prepare. So during August and September of last year, I applied to a few APM or Associate Product Manager programs, including Facebook's RPM program, Rotational Product Manager program. So I ended up making it past the initial application round. And during the 3-month recruitment process for Facebook's RPM role, I did daily mocks, some of which included designing products for users. So for example, you are the PM at Facebook, design a product for travel, or getting to the root cause of a problem. So for example, you are the PM of Instagram stories. You notice a decline in the average number of stories users are making on a daily basis or posting on a daily basis. Why do you think this is happening, and what would you do to fix this? So due to the experiences that I had at through the Heinz Institute and at EIA, such as solving problems and coming up with new ideas, And from the connections I had made throughout the way, I felt prepared and excited to, tackle these prompts. So after 3 rounds of interviews, which concluded in October, I heard back in November from my recruiter, and unfortunately, I did not receive an offer. So I decided to take some time off from applying to jobs after literally putting my all into that recruitment process. And I decided to start back in January. So fast forward to April, so last month, my recruiter actually reached back out to me, and she shared that I was being offered the RPM role that I had interviewed for last fall. So I will be starting my new role in July at Facebook's office in the city, in New York City. So just like from my experience, I would like to share some insights that I learned throughout my entrepreneurial journey at Iona, and also through this job process, during a pandemic. So, in life, when things don't go as planned, just understand that failure is a part of the process and don't get discouraged. Also, in entrepreneurship, there's this saying, you fail 8 times, but you get up 9. So whenever if you constantly are receiving, negative news or not getting the outcome you want, just keep on pushing and you will get that one yes eventually. I also want to say this to the students. Please take advantage of the resources available to you at Iona, especially especially like now while you're in college. So for example, the Heinz Institute, your professors, your peers, career development, the alumni network here at Iona, they're all here to help you, and now is the perfect time to take advantage of those resources. Also, I want to say, take things one step at a time and always put your best foot forward. Going off of that, I also want to mention, build genuine connections, whether that's with your peers, your professors, people you network with on LinkedIn, because you never know how things may pan out and what opportunities may arise from these connections in the future. And also, during this time, the global pandemic, it's just be patient and try to remain as positive as possible when you're going through a challenging time, because it will end eventually and you will get through it. And then lastly, just know that God has a plan for you, and what is meant for you will always find its way to you. So just to conclude, before I go ahead and present the awards, I just wanted to say, if any of you would like to connect with me and just ask for college advice, internship, or career advice, please connect with me on LinkedIn. It's just my name, Tiara Griffith, and just put a note that you attended this event, and I'd be more than happy to connect with you and share what I've learned and help you with wherever you are wherever you are in your journey. So now, with all of that being said, I'd like to present the awards. So after being awarded with the first Heinz Institute Award, I'm honored to present it today. So thank you, the Heinz Institute, for allowing me to speak today. So the first recipient of this award for 2020, since it wasn't given out last year, is Rihanna Khan. And here are some of her entrepreneurial activities that she's involved with. So congrats, Rihanna. The second recipient of this award is Jerry Sullivan, and here are some of his the entrepreneurial activities he's involved in. So congrats, Jerry. So also, I just want to say congratulations to both Rihanna and Jerry, and it is also Jerry's birthday today. So I just want to let's all wish him a happy birthday.
Okay. Jerry's not with us today because he's out dining with his parents, but congratulations both. Because Rihanna's here and we have to sort of wait for people to come back. I don't know if Rihanna wants to say a couple of words.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my gosh.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You go, superstar.
Wow. The Heinz Institute has definitely helped shape my Iona career. So that's really, like, they definitely have a special place in my heart, the whole team. And wow, thank you.
Oh, you deserve it, Rihanna. Congratulations. And I feel completely honored to sort of not only be part of the Heinz Institute, but also to just work with these students and how they have this ability to really kind of shape what we're doing at the Heinz Institute at Iona College. This is amazing. It's an honor to see you guys grow. So it's well deserved. I met Jerry his freshman year. just a little bit about Jerry, and this shy boy that walks in, and he's really flourished with a lot of projects with the Heinz Institute. So congratulations both. Ree, you are my superstar. T, you were my superstar, and I have so many. But it's great to really see you guys sort of flourish and work on these projects every day. So I have many more, but what are we to do? Lily here was 20, wait. So T was the first one, right? And then Lily was the second one in 2019.
2020.
Yeah, it's a 20.
He was for 2020, even though we have to give it to you now. And Jerry is this year's.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you guys. So I guess Jar left me behind so I could entertain everybody while we wait. But very impressive presentations. I am so excited and sort of can't wait to see sort of who are the winners for today, but very impressed with today's presentations. Does anybody have any entrepreneurial journey, some of the mentors that they would want to share with us?
A couple of comments. First is I got to congratulate everybody. I really thought you did a step up job today. And I know how hard it is to package your idea, go out and research all this stuff and put it together and communicate it to other people, and then do it with a video, and then deal with FAQ. You did a great job, so I want to congratulate you. Number two is I got to compliment the Heinz team, because compared to prior year, this year is a step up. So you guys did a really good job at helping prepare them. It wasn't just about same, but again, it was better than last year and the prior years. So you're getting the recipe and you're getting more of it for you guys. So please absorb this. I hope you're sharing the recording, Lindy, for this, so that people who were listening with pins and needles for their FAQ can go back and look at it again. And I think that there's some really, really good stuff. The last thing is, use this network. There are lots of very good people that can help you with your project, with your career, with your ideas. This is just the beginning, not the end.
Thank you, Scott, for those. Those are very wise words. The network, because this is a network not only of people in the know, but also people that are willing to help, right? And that is priceless. And for all you students that are coming up with these ideas, and this is just one of many potential ideas that you guys might be working from here to God knows when. So really these mentors are really here and they're invested to help. And I think that that's really important. When people who are in the industry, in the know, are willing to give you their time, that's extremely valuable. So we appreciate all of our mentors. Al, would you like to say some words?
Sure. One of the things that came across today, much more so today than throughout the discussions we had in the past, was your passion for what you're doing. That was tremendous. Hearing that in your voices, seeing it on the screen, that's so important. Don't lose that. In this era of the pandemic where you're not able to make person-to-person contact, being an Italian, I always talked to my hands and I had to be in front of people and so forth. Don't ever lose that passion. It may not work, but you tried, and then you try again on something else. I went through 3 iterations in my career, and you just got to keep going. And the passion you showed today was really something. The questions the people asked, the judges, I was amazed. They were a little tough on you guys and so forth. And that was good, but you all came back and you answered them. You didn't shy away. You really stepped up to the plate. I was very impressed. And, my mantra has always been, teamwork and helping others. And You got to remember as you go forth in business at this point, you're at a crucial point in your life, one of many. Um, Reach out, get help, talk to people, network. You can do it. It's a little harder online, but you could do it, and so forth. It's very important, and as you go forward. No, but congratulations. It was pleasant sitting here. And I'm normally watching NCIS or something. I'm watching the passion that you guys really showed for your projects. Again, congratulations. Thanks a lot. I appreciated it.
I also just wanted to say congrats to all of you guys, all of you students that had to take classes during the pandemic, like online. I had to do my last semester at Iona, and so I know how difficult and challenging it was. But good job for making it this far, and hopefully next semester will be better, so you could be on campus and hang out with your friends.
Thank you, T. I mean, again, like we have, experienced mentors, and maybe you guys see T as not as experienced, but also just her process navigating. Please connect. I think that's important. Sort of a lot of the things that she went through while in school, trying to navigate, putting herself out there, right? I think that's important as well. So yeah, so please connect. Mark, I see you on my screen. I'm gonna put you on the hotspot. Do you want to say anything?
I think I got it here. Sorry for that.
No problem.
Thanks, Lynette. No, I was quite impressed by the quality of all the projects as well. I knew 3 of them because I'd basically rated them, and was happy to see that they took into account some of the comments which were made. And overall, I think that, having spent 30 years in a multinational company, I tried to compare what I heard today to a lot of projects which were presented to me during those years. And I must say, there are a lot of things which you're doing now which are very, very professional. And I'm quite amazed to see that people with so limited experience, but with a lot of passion, can really push things forward. And no, I was quite impressed. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Mark. I think the one thing that sort of strikes me from this round also has been sort of how other disciplines and how we're integrating sort of other disciplines like OT to really sort of be entrepreneurial, think out of the box, and sort of the comment that Scott made during the chat, which, real problems and finding, really creative solutions to these problems. And that's important. So thank you guys for really thinking and going beyond and to really solve these problems. So yes, so I know the judges are still deliberating. It might get a little bit boring just listening to me. So if anybody else wants to say anything, please feel free to jump. Any of the students, if you guys want to make a comment, talk to the mentors, ask questions. So there's still one award being decided. So the judges are having a hard time in there. I don't want to be them right now. So overall to the students, how has been remote learning for most of you? I know some of you are on campus, but.
I mean, I'm gonna kickstart it. Taking MBA classes online, it's difficult. It's hard, and it requires a lot of attention, but I'm making it work. Every single day, we're making it work. Just probably like every one of my peers here today, we're making it work.
No, yeah, like I feel like I'm attention deficit. So I would sit in front of a screen, like not working for me.
It's nice that it's nice that the trimester is like wrapping up, right? We're at like the end, so it's that's also a plus.
Yeah, hopefully we can go back to see each other's in person next semester. Looking forward to that. I mean, like it marks a year, which our last final event last year was online, but we didn't run the entire thing online. So We got to innovate, we got to improvise, we got to pivot and shift and kind of deal with the times. And that's what makes us, all of us, entrepreneurs on an everyday basis.
I'm going to share one thought, just since most of you are going to be going to do something after graduation, or you're going to be hunting for a new opportunity. Might I suggest you use some of the video from this and other things to create a portfolio? Because while you can always say I could have done better, a 20-second snip of this, a little bit of Christoph and Lindy and some of the other people, to give context of what you were involved with, showcases something impressive. So you guys may be bored to death of being on Zoom, but for people who are looking at you for future projects or opportunities, your ability to be resilient and pitch in challenging times is what's going to set you apart. So you got tested and you've got something to show for it. So package it in a neat little package. Less than the 4 minutes you did your pitch for.
Thank you, Scott. That's very insightful.
That is a
very insightful. It's like a video digital portfolio. I can only imagine the impact that, starting point conversations that can happen from that.
I've heard of TikTok, maybe you guys have, something kind of that level, short, fast, powerful.
Right.
And also if you have colleagues that are making comments, including mentors or classmates or instructors that said, really good.
Yeah, and this is something that you could actually add to your LinkedIn page under the project section, and career development. If any of you have been there or communicated with them, they can help you with your LinkedIn page. Or if you have any questions, just reach out to me and I'll help you if you need to build your LinkedIn page as well.
There you go. These are the connections that need to be made. But just to sort of keep on putting T on the spot, one of the things, that T mentioned to me recently when she got this Facebook job, it's just from her experience of not working with the Heinz Institute, because it wasn't like I hired her. It's just, she was just collaborating with us, right? And just taking advantage of a lot of the offerings that we were having. So that's important. And how do you do that? How do you maximize that ability? And I think, T, if you want to just say a quick,
Thank you, Lindy. Oh.
Everybody else is coming back. Well,
Yes, we are. Thank you, Lindy. And I heard the mentors are also really sharing some great pieces of some great words for everyone here. So thank you. And thank you, Tiara. We missed it. But I know you did a stellar job and you're going to continue to do so. Our judges are coming back into the room. I think they should all be here. Let me just check. Yes, they are. Oh, thank you again, Tiara. Congratulations, Brianna and Jerry, on the award. Well deserved. And now it's the moment that we've all been waiting for. And to present the prizes are Anne-Marie Hines and Alana Hines. Well, I'm going to kick it off with the fan favorite in the meantime. So as you remember, I mentioned earlier, the fan favorite prize goes to the team that crowdsourced the most likes on their initial 60-second pitch video that they used for their first milestone. So this award goes to, drum roll, Thinky. Congratulations, Thinky. The little virtual clap. Great job on spreading the word and continuing to share with your family and friends. And you did that. Anne-Marie, you can take it from here.
Sorry. As I said before, I'm so excited about how well everybody's done this year. It's just amazing. Every year I look, and now it's the 4th year, and it's just amazing how much has been done. The actual presentations were very well done, and the ideas were amazing. So congratulations to everybody. We actually came up with a couple of different things. We have 2 superlative awards, and the award for most needed goes to Parky. And we're thrilled that you won. We think it's a terrific idea, and we do think that it's one of the things that is most needed, particularly in an urban area like New York City.
Thank you.
So I think maybe I'll have my daughter give this one. Alana, can you give the most resourceful award?
Sure. Hi, everyone. So this was our other superlative, and what we wanted to highlight here was a group that we thought did the best job in really leveraging all the resources of the program and the Heinz Center and the other resources they have access to on Iona, and really coming up with a unique product. So that was for Pocket Arm. Yay!
Yay, congratulations.
I think it's a great idea, and really loved and could tell how much work you had put into it with the prototype and all the design. So best of luck.
So on to the awards. Obviously, we have 3. This is for 3rd place, and this is for Spot Me.
Congrats.
Congratulations. We just were very impressed with this, and we know you have things that you have to do to make it really operational, but there was a lot of good comments about, then again, also that this actually is something that really could work. So best of luck with it.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
So we're on to 2nd place now, which goes to, let's see. I probably don't remember what 2nd place is because I didn't write it down properly. So maybe my daughter could pitch in. Alana?
Okay, well, I will. So I was tied if this was 1 or 2. So I will highlight. I thought this was my personal number 1, but congratulations on 2nd place. We thought this was a really impressive idea and a really unique value proposition, and just really poised for really strong impact, while balancing it also being a very feasible and relative. We thought ease of implementation also really factored into how you guys would be able to go to market and continue. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congrats.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
No, best of luck. We'll look for your card.
Drum roll.
And last but not least, I have to say that this was on, I believe, every judge's top 3. We felt that this was a marvelous idea. I particularly am thrilled that it came out of the OT connection. I think you've done a great job in identifying things, all the people that were in OT. And this goes to the Love Rep.
Congrats.
So best of luck with all these ideas. I'm sorry my husband wasn't able to be here tonight, but I know he's just as equally as impressed as I am with all the items that you have been working on. And clearly the level of the presentations has exceeded itself this year from any other year. And the ideas have been remarkably innovative. And there's been a lot further development of how to bring them to fruition. So I wish you all a lot of luck. And I'm thrilled with tonight's Innovation Challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Emery. Thank you, Alana, and to all the judges and the teams.
Thank you, everyone.
Great work, everyone. So impressive on every front. Everyone was so impressive.
Thank you.
And the team is great. Christoph and Jarlene and Lindy, you're amazing all.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can I ask also our remaining judges, maybe just to offer like a little bit of insight from your perspective, Mr. Tony?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to say a lot of what I try to do in my role at the college is to set up environments for students to learn outside of the classroom. Now, I get that this is an academic pursuit, but I hope that all of the participants learned a lot about the development, learned a lot about the marketplace, and learned about how they work with other people and with ideas, because these are the experiences that you're going to remember much more than just sitting down and reading a book or a chapter, or simply writing a paper for one person to read. Like, this was this is truly the embodiment of what it means to learn outside the lines, as they say. So I hope that you enjoyed the experience, if it turned out to be a successful one or not in terms of the prize money. I hope that you got something out of it regardless.
Mr. Tony, would you like to also close it out from the judge's perspective?
What I'd like to say to all of the team players, all of the future entrepreneurs, is that they already have a mindset of being an entrepreneur, and they're looking to solve problems. I can already tell they're a leg up. They're ahead of so many of their peers throughout the country. So my hat's off to them. I could see the passion. I could see the commitment, and they're all going to be very successful in the future.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you all for your insights. I think my job is now to round it out. I really want to, give a special thanks. I mean, we have the list here, but just going to go through this because I think it's really incredible how we have been able to. First of all, thank you to our students. You are the reason why we're here. And the Heinz family allows us to do that work through founding the Heinz Institute. Obviously, President Carey, thank you for your leadership, Provost Wheeler as well. Our mentors and coaches, you have been incredible. Over 30 coaches and mentors working with our students throughout the competition. I mean, I cannot express how grateful I am, because it takes time, dedication, and our students certainly appreciate that. And I think today was a great celebration of that. Obviously, our judges, thank you all again. Also a special shout out to Mr. Tony, who also helped us support to really upgrade the competition this semester, which really also helped with our students. So thank you again for your contribution. And, I want to community as a whole. I think, everybody is really, embracing the Heinz Institute, the work that we do across the schools, across the disciplines in ways that we didn't imagine in that way, 4 years ago. And I think today was another wonderful evidence of that. And obviously the Heinz Institute team, I mean, it really takes a whole team, a whole village. I just happen to be at the helm of it, but really the credit goes to everybody who's involved, from Charlene to Lindy to Danny and Rob, our faculty, our interns, our grad assistants. So Marisol, Ivan, it's been really incredible. So thank you all, and it's been a special evening. It's going to be exciting, and next year we're going to do this in person. We're going to be in a beautiful space, and there will be food and a time to socialize afterwards. So I want to thank you all. And I would appreciate who wants to stick around for a little group photo on our little Zoom screens. And again, have a great rest of the evening. Congratulations to the winners. And, I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.